what went wrong for Brazil, but he had already said even in the last episode that Brazil got to where they were not because of how good they were, but because of how poor the opponents were. Let me read something that their coach was saying, Carlo Ancelotti. He was saying at some points in the game they deserved to win the match.
Sure, they did.
He says we have to continue to improve. We have to continue to find new ideas. This is the beginning of a new cycle.
I think all of us who have watched the World Cup diligently can point to the fact that Brazil haven't been excellent in this tournament. They were played off the park by Morocco. They won games that they had to win, or they would win with their eyes closed against Haiti and Scotland. Got through, then were labored against Japan. In all those games, we've not seen an excellent Brazil. And in that game, yes, there were phases in the game where they should have buried it. One, they had a penalty missed by Bruno Guimaraes.
Why did he take it? Of all the Brazilian players?
I also go to learn that their first choice penalty taker is Vinicius. Their first choice penalty taker is Neymar. Their second is Rafinha. Their third should be Vini. So the first two choices were not on the pitch at the time, and then the person who is supposed to take the responsibility, Vini, did not feel that he was in the shape to take the penalty. So he's the one who picked the ball and added it to Bruno. In the end, okay, penalties are missed. I only like the fact that he's part of the hierarchy. The one when I've argued that penalties are too important to be given to everyone is when players just step up and raise their hand, and we've not even seen them take a penalty in their courtyard pitch, in their houses, or they were not even part of a training session for penalty shootouts. Those are the ones that sometimes I argue and say they should not be anywhere close. It should not be about who is feeling that they should take one. But also, besides the penalty, they created some very good chances, and the Norwegian goalkeeper Nyland brought his A game, which is primarily his job.
Was it even man of the match?
Yeah, very hard to choose. I think it was a coin toss between him and Erling Haaland. For once, I wanted the man of the match award to be shared by the two. But also, you have to, many times in games like this, it's always, the first thing that comes to mind is always to find the reason, from back to your question, to find the reason why the bigger team lost, because we are talking about the most successful team in World Cup history, Brazil. 4 years from now will be 28 years since Brazil last won the World Cup. And the signs have not been there that they're about to win the World Cup again. There are things we've argued about. And one of those that I find central to what Brazil would do is their transition from being a typical samba Latin or South American side has not happened as quickly as it should. They are losing their players too young from their culture, which is 17, 18. That's the time when their players are moving to Europe. So all the Brazilian secrets that they had about their football are no more, because all these players are now educated in a European culture. And
did they get the best of both worlds?
No, they don't, because now they lost one. The culture of the Brazilian players. Remember when we were doing a preview of this World Cup, there are things I mentioned that Brazil would struggle with. One of those that I mentioned and I remember vividly is the fullbacks. Brazil are known for that roaming fullback. They do not have that anymore. No Cafu, no Carlos, no Marcelo, no Cicinho, no Jorginho in the past. The guys who run around that touchline, and they are very, very important to their attacking game. And there are so many other things I could mention. But I want to go back to what I was mentioning, that because their players are moving to Europe too early, they've lost everything about their secrets. And I thought the biggest positive they could find from this World Cup campaign is hiring a European manager in Carlo Ancelotti. But even he's had very little time, I think, to mold the team into that European side. That's why, in the end, you see he mentions the word cycle right at the end. It's the start of a cycle. I think he needs about another 2-3 years in the job to master how these players are going to transit, and understand the way he wants them to play.